This is part 24, and I believe this is going to be the end of Luke. But we're going to go start with Luke 23, verse 16 to start with here. And I just need to put it up on the screen. Oops, need some lights. This was Pilate was talking to Jesus, and then Herod has sent him back to Pilate. And this here, therefore I will release him, I will therefore punish him, and I will release him. No, therefore I will release him, not punish him. There's no need to punish him. So he would just say, I'm going to release him because he's the judge. Now he's obligated to release one feast, or now he is obligated to release to them at the feast one prisoner. This is a note to me. Shall I use it? I'm not going to use it because the simple fact that we already know the story and they're going to ask. Because I'm trying to think, should I use it? Now he was not obligated, but now he was, oops. Let me try this. Let me make it 11 point just to save it. Now he was, therefore I will release him. For he was to release to them one prisoner, not at the feast. It's not, for he was to release to them one prisoner. I'd say we don't need these. And then I will get this to be small and this to be small. And I will add this verse here. So 17. So I got to come down here and change this to blue. Get rid of this, 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 and this. Therefore I will release him, for he was obligated to release to them one prisoner. Okay. Let's see how. And it would have been their people, meaning the priest had went around and gathered a bunch of people, and it's them that are going to be doing this, crying out to him, crying out to Caesar and their people. But I put Jews here. Yep. I'm going to put and. And the Jews cried out together, crucify him. Release to us. Crucify him and release to us, Barnabas. Okay. Now this text is what is the text that says that he was insurrection. It was a riot. And I didn't have it as a riot. I has he beat he killed in a fight. It's pretty much what I had it written or had changed the text to. Let me see here. He was he was he had been thrown into prison. The prison for a murder. Okay, this used to be 19. They have to tell us who he is. So there he is. He's a murderer. For example, murderers get crucified. A robber does not get crucified. I wanted to release Jesus, so he retold them, not addressed, but he retold them. And again, they kept calling out, crucify him, crucify him. And this text here needs to go with the next verse. So I added the two verses together here to do that. Okay, good enough. And it was the third time. We tried a third time. What evil has he done? Because here it is evil. So robbery wouldn't be real truly evil. Evil is murder. Has done. I found him not guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty. Or death. Well, if I use their words here, let's see what they look like here. Found him not guilty, demanded. I found him not guilty to demand death. To demand death. I will not punish him, so I will release him. And they insisted with their loved ones. Okay. Let me add that where error to demand death. I'm not guilty to demand death. Will not punish him, so I will release him. They yes, and they insist on a voice that he be crucified, and their voices prevailed. And Pilate, they added the word "and" here, but it actually the word "and" is here, so it wasn't added. And Pilate declared the sentence they demanded should be granted. But yes, this is quicker and easier. They released the male who was talking to for an insurrection for writing, going to prison for This doesn't need to be here, and neither does this. Um, for murder. Then he delivered Jesus to be crucified, which was by their will, but he had to be crucified. Then he led them, when they led him to crucify him, they not laid hold, but forced Simon, and this is from where he's from, to carry the cross. And I'm using the word carry from over here because it also is saying that it placed on him. So it don't need the words placed. But the object is to carry a cross behind Jesus. Multitude, and that's pretty much lamenting beside him. Uh, Daughters, not women. He says women, not daughters of Jerusalem. The days are coming that blessed are the barren who never bore a child, for the simple fact that we know that Jesus is talking about they're going to come in and destroy the house. So this is what Jesus is referring to. I never born a child. I had to add a child because I needed to. Um, and then they didn't say this, for they began to say, "Let the wheels fall on us." No, they didn't say this. For they did do these things, green trees, so apple will dry up. If they do these things, a green tree what will happen will dry up. This is just, Jesus is not going to be babbling this kind of stuff, because he's telling them that we're lamenting beside him. They were crying out for his death, but he was crying, or he was telling them, Jesus said he told them, stop weeping for me. Weep for yourselves and your children's, your, weep for yourself and your children's. So, weep not on yourself or but weep for yourselves and your children's children. Weep for your children's children. And this would be talking, for the days are coming when they will say, they're not the children, and they're trying to make this read correctly, and think I'm overdoing it here. Women of Jerusalem. Jesus doesn't need to say of Jerusalem. Women, stop weeping for me. Weep for your children. 70 years, yeah, that would probably be their children. Weep for your children, for the days are coming when they will say, blessed are the barren who never bore a child. And that's because Jerusalem's going to come in and kill them, or Rome's going to come in and kill them, and try to wipe out Christianity as it's starting to take hold. The two others were not just criminals, they were murderers, and they were to be crucified. You killed a murderer, not randomly for small offenses. Um, when they came to that place, they crucified him, but not called the skull. Where I'm actually going to tell you where it was crucified. When the text shows itself here, they crucify him and the murderers, one to his right and one to his left. After Jesus said, "Father, forgive them. They do not know what they do." They cast. Now here is showing Jesus, um, even though he knows that they don't know what's going on, he's asking them to forgive, just as he's forgiven his enemies, but he's forgiven them because they do not know what they're doing to fulfill this. So he wants them to be forgiven. So when I say Jesus isn't mocking people or degrading them or stuff like that in a lot of these verses, this goes to that understanding that he has to himself do the forgiving or ask for forgiveness as well for those that for what they did. And they cast dice, not lots, but dice to divide up their uh, their garments among them. This would be all three of them that they're dividing it up for. Now, those that stood by looking, but they watched, as and then as our rulers mocked him, saying, and our rulers would mean priests, officers, judges, elders, and those that are completely Jews, that would be what they were doing. And they were shouting, "He didn't save others, he helped others. Let us see you help yourself, not save uh, yourself from this." They're talking to him, so not talking about him. So it's yourself. Where you said you are YV's chosen one, not Christ of YV, because the Christ means that he is to die, so that can't be there. His chosen one. Um, they, yes, this is what they were referring to. Chosen one, not holy one, but chosen one, if you notice here. The Roman soldiers, I had to add the Roman soldiers, although it kind of is taken that it is, I might have to remove that, because we know who we're talking about. That would just be me adding a double in the word here. The soldiers also mocked him. "If you are the king for Jews, free yourself." So they didn't worry about saving yourself, but they were free yourself. Let's see you do that. Type of mocking. And they also put an inscription by him, not above him, but by him. They already crucified him, so now they also put an inscription by him. This is the King of the Jews. Okay, not above him, but by him. Um, I'm thinking, where'd they get the material to do this? It would have to be above him down. And then, yeah, be here. Yeah, so inscription. I'm trying to think of a better word than inscription here. They put a notice above him. They put a notice. Oh, brother. where they put a notice above him, "This is the king for the Jews." One of the murderers was yelling at him, "You are not our king." The others, because he can't say Christ, he understands Christ, the title Christ, then they know that he is supposed to die. And Jesus was claiming himself as the king. He always kept this death he was going to die to only the disciples. And the others rebuked, the other rebuked him. "Do you not fear, YV? For we were sentenced to death." We were sentenced, no, for we were sentenced to death. I don't see them under the same sentence. They weren't under the same notice. I'm trying to figure out how they had the words "under the same," where you were under the same sentence, where we were sentenced to death. Okay. Trying to figure if I should put the word "with him," but I guess that could be added later. We are received in what we deserve, yet he did nothing wrong. And he told Jesus, "Remember me when you receive your kingdom." Not come into your kingdom, but receive your kingdom. And Jesus said, "Today you will be with me, not in paradise, in heaven." There's no such place as paradise, it's heaven. Yep, that's it there. Then it was about the 6th hour, darkness fell over the whole land, and at the 9th hour we saw darkness fell over the land, so the sun being obscured. They would thinking that would be an eclipse that would have happened, and I don't think that. I think our Creator caused just a darkness over the land, so I'm getting rid of what people want to say that there was no eclipse at that time, so that's not true. Well, I'm removing it, and now we know it's not true. Just getting rid of that false thing of how the darkness happened. Darkness fell over the land, meaning clouds came in, dark clouds came in. We saw the not veil of there's walls for his temple. I made it house as to correct it, but the deal here is the veil. Now the veil, it was only in the tent, was not in the house. When I made the Holy of Holies, they're calling these curtains that were to enter into the holy room, where you meet with our Creator. They were calling this veils, but there are no veils, and there are walls for a house, and they collapsed, meaning that we don't have it here, but the earth shook. So everything made out of wood, like the roof, would have shook and collapsed. It could not be torn in two. But we have the word, I'm going to put in the word collapsed. The walls and roof. Oh, yes, we need to. Anything made out of wood collapsed. The walls themselves would not have collapsed. If the land shook that hard to granite blocks to fall, that would have been a major earthquake. It was just a shaking of the land. So it has to be walls and the roof for his house collapsed. Then Jesus cried out, Father, into your hands. To your hands I give you my soul. And he breathed his last. Doesn't have a spirit, we have a soul. No, these here verses don't need to be anything at all, or don't need to be added. We're concerned about Jesus because the centurion that saw it and what happened, he began to pray, or they had began to praise YV. They wouldn't have done that. They wouldn't have said that he is certainly innocent. They would have been saying, he was our creator. There is a creator, and this is true that this is, he was supposed to be sent. So this is not, he was innocent. And the crowd came together, this spectacle, when they observed what happened. They began returning and beating their breasts. No, they weren't all, there was other things going on. This stuff, doesn't mean nothing to anybody. They aren't going to have a change of heart. And they were all glad, they were cheering, even though the ground shook. They were just like that, a big deal. Jesus' disciples, who accompanied from Israel, were standing at a distance watching. Who was a member of the council. Now, this wouldn't have been true. We have other text. See how it says he was here. He was waiting for his kingdom from YV. So this would not be true. Behold, a man, Joseph was. See, what they're trying to do is enter in another Joseph. But the object is it was Joseph, his father, went to Pilate. Now, it says this man. Well, let's put the name Joseph down here. And it was his father who went to Pilate and asked for Jesus' body. So the thing here is this, and I'm just moving Jesus forward here. So it would have been his father that approached him, okay, and not this Joseph. And I prove that with the verse that I grabbed from this book, where they said that when Jesus was in Nazareth, they said, well, his father is a carpenter. Well, it didn't say his father was a carpenter. His father is a carpenter. So I'm using that as saying he existed. He was alive at that time. He did not die. And after they took down, they wrapped his body with linen cloth. This was just regular cloth. So linen is way too expensive for them to be going around and grabbing in the body. Laid him, but it's not him, so it has to be the body on a tomb hewed into the rock, not cut into the rock, but hewed. They shaped this structure to be there where no one has ever laid. Well, that can't be proven, so that's what the tombs are about, is to lay a body, and the tomb is one of the many that are there. And there's a video below that describes all this and why they do this. On the sacrificing day, not the preparation day, but on the sacrificing day where they're sacrificing the ram and the holiest days was about to begin. Notice it would have been Sabbath day was about to begin, which would have been first of the week, but holiest day, because it is the Passover that's supposed to happen at twilight, that they're supposed to gather together and eat a meal and celebrate. this is the holiest day because it's the first day of the year. So that's why I have the word holiest here. Um, Women who had followed him from Galilee, no, out of Galilee, but followed him. Some women who had followed him. I'm trying to think, why do I have it like this? Some women who had followed him followed us to the tombs. And who had followed him, who had watched. Or it was going to have to be some of our people, of our people who had watched. Some of our people. Let's do this right here. A few few of our people who had watched. Few of our people who had watched us take the that's who have the this has to be added for to us to make sense of what's going on here. I hope that a few of our people who watched us take his body down followed us to the tombs. Okay, that makes more sense. And saw where the body was laid as extra witnesses. Okay, now, um, boy, this isn't to the end. I'm going to put, let me just, yeah, there's only two more pages. I'm going to stop here and then I'm going to pick up the text from the beginning, or from here. I thought this was going to be to the end, but I guess I talked too much, and now I realize that I can't finish it or the video is going to be too long. Sorry about that.